Yeah, I'm also mildly antagonistic to Abrahamic traditions. So for me, like, I would do the LBRP, and I just didn't do the Kabbalah type uh, names of God sort of thing. I would substitute it with different Hindu things, so and it still worked. I don't think that the Abrahamic trappings of a lot of these things are really I don't think they're super necessary, and I think the fact that you can get so far without them, not just in that situation, but like Crowley, for example, went into Buddhism before he went into Western esotericism, and he actually understood it better because Eastern religion isn't the secret locked behind 1,000 doors like Kabbalah is. It's just you read the text and it just tells you plainly how these things work. like through the Eastern tradition, astral projection is just kind of plainly talked about, and like you can read the Shiva Sutras and understand these sorts of things, even, or the Patanjali Sutras, or even the Bhagavata Purana talks about it a little bit, kind of alludes to it. I mean, it references the sort of thing. It's relatively obvious, but like if you look at Western esotericism, it's like you sort of have to know before you know, and how do you know before you know? It's kind of fucked up, to be honest. I've heard this thing about the Anunnaki being, maybe you already listened to the message, but the Anunnaki and the Nephilim and all these things being kind of said to be the same thing. Oof. I'm just watching this car slip and slide down the road. It's interesting. The other day I was talking about Mongol Dosh and I saw a car run into the one in front of it. Anyways, yeah, so I think making all of these things out to be like the same thing, I don't know if it works. Because there's like the Anunnaki and like the Mesopotamian context where it's like I don't know, they're the gods that came and built everything, and then in like the Hopi tribe in I think it's somewhere in North America, actually. Like I don't know if it's like in the Southwest United States or where before it was that. They talk about the Anunnaki, but they're like ant people in their mythology that like build stuff. Like I have one friend that talks about that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of curious things that appear to line up, but it's kind of hard to tell, like what would mean what and how it would come together exactly. So I kind of grade everything through, especially Hinduism. I heard one time that Enki is supposed to be like Lucifer. I think that's sort of interesting. Maybe so. And then I hadn't heard Enlil is supposed to be like Jehovah. Makes sense. I'm not that familiar with the Mesopotamian, Sumerian mythology. Maybe if I was, I would have better insights about this sort of thing, but just haven't gotten around to it too much. Yeah, I'd love to hear about it. I saw a meme yesterday that Enlil caused the flood of the world according to Sumerian myth, so that really lines up with what you're saying. Learning from memes, practically. Cool. Yeah, see, I've heard that there's been some scientific breakthroughs lately that, quote unquote, like prove esoteric principles. Um, like everything vibrates. The Theosophical Foundation sort of popularized this idea, but it was already, like I think Eastern traditions already kind of had that idea, and now like scientifically we've quote unquote proven it. So I think there's a process of science and esoterics coming closer together, but like I think in the next 20 years we'll see some more breakthroughs, but I think it could be a century or two before the combining of esoterics and science really becomes like a real a real tangible thing that we can be like, oh yes, I will say I've noticed on YouTube that like when YouTubers will be like, or podcasters or whatever, will be like, oh yes, the science is trying to prove these things. I think usually those sorts of people are like, there's a lot of people that are disinfo type like shells on YouTube, as you know. But I think especially the community of like trying to make it scientific or explain these things scientifically. I think at some point, that'll happen. But I think it's a long way off. Like, okay, if there's such a thing as spirits or ghosts, how would you calculate that? Although, I know of a guy that did, like, I personally know, well, I've met the guy a few times, but my dad especially personally knows a guy who like, maybe I'm getting it mixed up, maybe it's someone that he only knew through a mutual acquaintance. I can't remember exactly. Anyways, my dad knows this guy that made gear for like ghost hunters type thing, and that even appeared on like some shows about those sorts of people. I don't know if such equipment works. I don't know. Like my dad didn't take it that seriously, but this guy was in the military that built this stuff, so I don't know if the military, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things where it's like, I can say something in such a way that like that sounds good, but it isn't then verified. You know what I mean? So I think being a little bit. Anyways, I think it's important to scrutinize sources of things. Otherwise, it's just like there's too much different information. I think everyone should put some thought into why they believe what they believe when it comes to conspiracy theory, esoteric space. Like, what's the precedent? Who said it? How trustworthy are they? What's up, boo? That kind of thing. Yeah. I think I mentioned this in the other voice messages from before that, like, I think you can get much farther by, like, having a fantastical view of it. I accept that maybe there's a more mundane explanation for some of these things. What's up, Boo? Oh, look, you threw the snowball. Good job, Boo. Yeah, I accept that there might be a more mundane explanation, like, they hear about the secret fire that drives all life, in the body, that sort of is the life force, and then it's like, yeah, the body is in a way on fire, the stomach burns food, and there is like an element of that to it, just to like digestion and respiration and everything else. Like the body is sort of subtly on fire, but it's not like it's more obtuse. It's a very obtuse thing. the secret fire as it was. Like, where is the fire? You know, are you gonna cut someone open and see a literal like campfire inside, or like a furnace, like you know, with flames? Well, the stomach is a chemical fire. You know, things like that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't call them metaphors exactly. I don't think they're meant to be metaphors, but I think that, you know, once as science does catch up, it'll sort of purify esoterics and magic in the sense of it's even more obtuse than esoterics. It's even, you know, sort of more bizarre in a way. And I think that's a little bit interesting to think about.